are you doing today? Just refueling myself on caffeine. So, today we're going to talk about cinnamon and all the different ways we can use it in magic. So, you can usually find it either in stick form at the grocery store or completely ground up. It's up to you how you want to use it. And, like I said, I tend to keep it in a jar like this. And I will use both depending upon how I want to work with it that day. So, some folk names that you may or may not be aware of when it comes to cinnamon are sweetwood and Ceylon cinnamon. Now, I don't come across Ceylon cinnamon as often anymore. However, I do still see it somewhat in some older texts. If you're not familiar, Ceylon is what we now know today as Sri Lanka. So when it was under British rule, it was called Ceylon. So you may also see teas that are labeled as Ceylon tea. And that's where it's coming from, is Sri Lanka. Now, they did gain their independence, I think it was in 1948. So now you know, if you didn't already know that little tidbit. So we associate cinnamon with the sun and the element of fire. So if you think about that warmth when you're eating something with cinnamon or drinking something with cinnamon in it, that's where I kind of pull that correlation in. Cinnamon is associated with the with the deity Venus or Aphrodite. So there are lots of different ways that you can use cinnamon. It is a very versatile herb spice. I guess we would say spice in this situation because it's actually technically the bark of a tree is where we get this particular item that we're using. Now, you can take this and light the end of it on fire and burn this as an incense, or you could of course use the ground and sprinkle it over a incense charcoal and use that to raise your spiritual vibrations. You can use it to enhance your psychic powers, your focus, your concentration. It was burned in temples of old, I believe especially in Egypt. I'd have to double check that, but I think that's what I'm recalling accurately. Now, if you want to really incorporate it maybe into a work for focus and energy, something where you want to take action, you might want to actually drink a tea that has cinnamon in it. It'd be a great way to use it. Now, again, that zing, you know exactly what cinnamon is when you taste it. It brings that little jolt to your tongue. So think of that energy when if you're trying to think of something that you want to kind of bring something into a spell to get it moving, cinnamon could be a good option. You can also think of that same thought that we just had a second ago where there's no mistaking cinnamon. You don't ever mistake it for a different herb, or spice. You know exactly what it is every time you taste it. So if you're working for confidence, that's a good one to go to. There is no mistaking that cinnamon. It's very confident and bold in its flavors. You can also use it for lust, love, and attraction. So again, the deities that correlate with this, they are known for those particular virtues. So you could bring that into the working. Now, if you're looking to use it for success, again, not just bringing in that energy, that momentum that you're looking for to move your spell along, but to actually draw in money and success, you could definitely use cinnamon. And so think of those autumnal activities that we do. We're out there, we're thinking about apple pies and baking. So think about when you walk by a bakery. You walk by, they're baking cinnamon rolls, again, that apple pie, maybe some snickerdoodle cookies, and it just smells so good. It attracts you in. It pulls you in so that you want to go spend your money in their shop. There's some magic at work. So think about that when you're trying to formulate your spell. That might be a time that you want to bring cinnamon in. If you're trying to create a warm, inviting environment, again, think of those particular places. Like I said, a bakery, they have those great smells going on. So we might be able to, again, use cinnamon in that way to create an environment like that in our home. You could use cinnamon in your potpourri mixes. You could purchase a cinnamon broom. They come out in the fall. I can buy it at my local grocery store, big box store. I can find them all over the place. Cinnamon pine cones. So those are different ways you can bring that magic in, especially if you're still in the quote-unquote broom closet. If you're not having or able to have an open practice, these are ways you can incorporate that magic in your life without being completely overt about it. Now, you could also, of course, use it in candle magic. You can definitely use it in food and culinary magic. So if you're looking to create that loving environment, definitely bake something. Offer it to your loved ones. Create that environment. All right, everyone. If you're liking this content, please give me a like. Share it with others as well that you know might enjoy it. And if you know of any other ways to use cinnamon that I may not have mentioned, please drop a comment below. I'd love to hear it. There's always some new way we can use these different items. All right, everyone. Thanks for joining me. Have a great day. The Modern Sea Witch does not offer medical advice, only my experience from a magical perspective. Please do your research before working with any ingredient.